Hey everybody, this is Jack with All Streets Gourmand, and I will let you guess where I'm at. It's a little too obvious, a little too on the nose. So what we're doing today is there's a place that I haven't been to. It's not necessarily new, but it's something that I haven't done before, so I do want to try it with all of you, and that is Block 16 at the Cosmo, or the Cosmopolitan, and try a couple of the selections there. I've always missed it, or we did Momofuku, or we did something else on the floor. So this will be fun. So I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of where I'm at here in the background. I've just walked 7 miles. So if you see my badge tag here, it's just that I don't want to lose it. We're going to try a couple of different selections and just try a couple of drinks out, a couple of things on the Cosmo floor itself. So with that, let's go. It's their version of the food hall that actually came out and precedes a lot of the other food halls around, at least by far of my reckoning of it. What's interesting about it is it's a very condensed food hall area. So let's go inside. What I'm going to do first is kind of walk you around the floor so you can kind of get a sense of what's on the floor with the other restaurants there. And then we're just going to do a bit of a dive into I will eat what I can. As you guys know, I don't try to overly pig out, but I'm going to give it a good shot and just try some things out. So let's go check out Cosmopolitan. Now, Cosmopolitan is actually one of my favorite haunts in Vegas if I could make it down there. And I've typically made it a practice to at least visit there in any one of my stays. It did open first in December of 2010 and then had various refurbishments as other investors came in and did a couple of different sweeps. But I've always liked its art-centric approach. So I've made it a practice to go up and down all of the different floors and just see if there's any changes. Personally, I like to see it change more often. But I get it, but still, it's one of the kind of the slickest hotels for sure. The other thing too is that in 2022, MGM took over the property and added MGM Rewards, and that also allowed the city center to connect with the Cosmo. A lot of folks thought it was part of the city center, and I've explained over the years that it was actually separate and a part of the city center area, but now it all comes together really nicely. Never heard it that loud in here before. Now, if you happen to be on this part of the strip and you've got a group, there is actually nothing better than to try to find some seats either on the first or second floor around the Crystal's bar. And that's because they have just some really good drinks. It's a very lively atmosphere. In fact, the last time I went, it was the loudest I have ever heard it. It was just wall-to-wall people. And they do have a very famous drink. Most people are aware of it, but we still find some folks that are not aware, and that's the Verbena cocktail. And what makes that one special is that it's got a Szechuan button, which is also called the buzz flower. So the lemon Verbena itself is made from tequila, a yuzu calamansi sour mix, ginger syrup, and Verbena. And then that little button on the top. The idea is that you sip it first to try the drink out. It's actually got a very mild citrusy flavor in the beginning. You have the buzz button, the flower, you chew it. Yes, you can swallow it, and then try your drink again. And there is a totally new taste element to it because your tongue is now numbed. So really fun drink, especially when you're with a group and you want to show them something new. Try the Verbena cocktail. Block 16 Urban Food Hall at the Cosmopolitan is on its second floor. So if you look for the escalators that just go up a single level, there's actually 2 escalators located on either sides of the first floor casino. You'll probably want to check all of the options before you go by going to the official Cosmopolitan site, because Block 16 has changed since its opening in August 31st of 2018. But right now, as you can see, there's District Donuts, there's Ghost Donkey, there's Hattie B's Hot Chicken, there's Lardo, and there's Tikka Bar.
I got the pork sandwich and the dirty fries. Some first impressions are very fast here, so things are very quick to come out, which is awesome. I will say I tried everything without putting anything on at first, because one should do. But I'll tell you, once you put the Cholula on there, it really wakes everything up. So when you have banana peppers, and some of the other flavors that are in here, you put the Cholula on there, it just wakes it, and it takes it up a notch. All right, a couple of first impressions from there, because it was just way too loud. The food came out very quickly, which is very nice. Just as much as I just sat down and then they were ready. The fries were okay. I had a little bit of a time trying to figure out where the leftover pork was in there. But what was nice about it was there was some rosemary, as well as a dried, but freshly dried aromatic that kind of amped it up. It came with banana peppers and regular peppers. They actually had some Cholula sauce, so that was an indicator. So threw that on there, and that just kind of amped up everything. It amped up the banana peppers, it amped up the fresh Parmesan, everything else in there, so that was nice. The sandwich was delicious. It was on a fresh ciabatta roll, very soft, kind of a perfect complement to the pork, the kimchi, and the standout for me was the sriracha chili mayo. Tasted like their own blend. They came with fresh cilantro on there as well, so just very tasty. Came across very well, and again, put a little bit of splashes of Cholula on there, and it just really amped up everything a notch. So, as always, recommend, eat the food first before you season it, just to try it out, and then season and adjust as accordingly. For me, it really needed that kind of amp up of flavor that the Cholula provided. So that was good overall. So the next thing we're going to try, it's getting very crowded in there. I might have to take a few orders to go. I'm going to try Ghost Donkey next, and then I'm going to try Tikka Bar. So let's go do that.
Now, while in line at Tikka Bar, how they're making the lardo sandwiches, it definitely shows you the amount of flavor they're packing into each sandwich. It should be said that the Cosmo actually added a couple of newer restaurants, at least newer to me, that I have yet to check out, one being Amaya, the other China Poblano. And of course, they have very stalwart ones that I've eaten and I've enjoyed immensely, Momofuku, the Henry, and one of our staple items, in fact, even while I was there recently, made the recommendation, somebody that did enjoy it, is Blue Ribbon.
Thank you. All right, so that was a bit difficult. I felt I got there at a pretty good time in the beginning, and then it kind of unraveled from there. So best laid plans of mice and men, and so it were. So the good thing about Vegas is you can change plans, you can shift. Vegas is the place where you can make those kind of changes and pivot where you need to. Yeah, it just got so packed. The line for Tekka Bar I waited in, and it was not moving, and I am not one to wait. Yeah, so now I'm over in the Crystal Shops on my way over to the Aria. And it's always a nice place because I feel like I can breathe in here a little bit more. As you can see, it's not as packed, but it's still a great place to kind of just check things out, see what people are up to. There is a Bazaar Mar. At least I got to try Lardo's, so that was good. And then I will make sure to make a trip and come back to the other places there. A lot of places were closed for private events, and so it just made it a little bit difficult to do anything when you can. So I tried Ghost Donkey, that was closed. Marquee is closed to a private event. But yeah, so let me think, and then see how we wrap this up today with Diana there behind me. Diana, do you have any ideas?
Now, obviously, that wasn't planned. I didn't know they were doing a Diana exhibit upstairs, but serendipity being what it is, Princess Diana actually owned several pieces of Harry Winston herself. Magnificent jewelry, just, yes, the stuff of royalty. And for some of you art lovers out there, the Southwest is an amazing area to live in. This is a great place to explore art. We're lucky to have Vegas, Los Angeles, and Palm Springs all nearby, and just amazing art towns. Shout out to Laguna Beach as well. Here's another example of a nook and cranny with some very colorful pop art.
So one thing you can do, and it's entirely free and a good way of getting some exercise and not spending any money, is to spend with your eyes and look at all the wonderful things here that you simply can't afford. It's retail therapy for me. But if you're at the crystal shops, number one, it smells beautiful in here always. And again, you could do some beautiful window shopping. There's some nice scenery. And yeah. So let's go check out Tiffany next.
Completely adjacent to both the Aria and to the Cosmopolitan are the shops at Crystals. This opened up in December 2009 as part of the city center build out. What's nice is within a few steps, you can be in a very nice, airy mall. One of the places that are pretty popular here is the Starbucks when it's open during the day. You can enjoy a cup of coffee amidst all of the luxury around you.
All right, so what better way of recouping than hitting back at the hotel and staying over at the Virgin and just kind of collect my thoughts. It was about 9 miles of walking. And what better way to go find a way to cap off the night than to go off strip and off script and head over to White Castle, which is just around the corner from the Virgin Hotel. So let's go hit that up. And there's a 7-Eleven right next door, so might as well go grab a big gulp.
Interesting to note that the White Castles in Las Vegas are the closest ones to California. So that's why a lot of us Californians will make sure to hit a stop and go there. For some of us older folks that remember California in the 70s and 80s, there used to be a few locations of White Castle that popped up and were quickly gone, not lasting into the mid 80s and beyond.
Right, so one thing to do if it's late at night, really easy choice is a White Castle.
You know, All Streets Gourmand is all about food facts and innovations. White Castle's Walt Anderson is pioneered with creating the flat patty that would make burgers all the way back in the pre-1920s. The process by which the patties are cooked over grilled onions has not changed in 100 years. Cheese was not introduced, creating a cheeseburger, until 1961. And one of my favorite ones that I may have to try is that there's apparently a stuffing recipe that uses chopped up White Castle sliders to stuff that turkey. We'll have to try that one. Now that's going to do it for us here at All Streets Gourmand as we go backwards and full circle. Another food adventure. Taking advantage of the fact that not all things go to plan sometimes. That's fine, as long as we're well fed by the end of the night. Thank you for visiting All Streets Gourmand, and please check out all of our other Vegas videos.